Hey, buddy. Hey, what's the matter? What's with the long face?
Camping season's over.
Oh, well, yeah. But hey, we've got hunting season and sledding season coming up.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ah, oh, that's so much better. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's Chris here.
I'm Link.
And today we're going to show you guys how to winterize your RV. Now, this is just going to be like basic steps. Every RV is a little bit different, but if you kind of follow along with us, you should be able to figure out any other RV. So anyway, to winterize your RV, when we talk about winterizing, we're talking about blowing all the water out of the water lines with air, and then we're going to pump some RV winterproof plumbing antifreeze into all those lines. There's a couple different methods that you can do. We'll talk about that. And then what else are we going to do, Link? Oh, we'll show everybody how to block off all the holes and stuff to your furnace and everything, and make sure you shut off your propane. Just things like that. Now, one of the things that we need to do when you go to winterize your trailers is very, very important, especially where we live, is you got to take out anything food related. If you don't take out all of the food related or scented things out of your trailer, you will get mice and rodents in your trailer or your RV. We don't have any rats here in Alberta, believe it or not. Little known fact that Alberta, Canada is rat free. No rats in Alberta. If you don't believe me, go ahead, fact check it on Google. Anyway, mice is the problem that we have. So we've had mice in the trailer before, and to help combat that, we now take everything out. And when I say everything food related, we take out the toaster, we take out any scented dish soap, anything that has any kind of a smell to it whatsoever, it's removed out of the trailer. Your barbecue stove, your spices, just like everything. And then we also remove anything that the mice can use to make a nest, like the toilet paper or paper towel or Kleenex or anything like that. It all comes out. Everything comes out. So we've cleaned it all out, and there's nothing left in there that is scented or food related. So now Link and I are going to show you guys how to start winterizing the whole trailer and put it to bed for the rest of the season. All right, so we're going to blow all the air lines out with water. We're trying to get the water out. We're going to blow all the air lines out with air. Remove all the water that we can. So here's your city water connection. So this is where we connect our air to. And I've built this little adapter piece, which has a garden hose end on it and an air chuck. Now, the compressor in the shop is set at like 100 PSI. Well, that's just going to blow fittings and stuff apart in your trailer. Normally with your RV, you want to have it set at like 50 PSI in a campground or whatever for water pressure. So we're going to use air, and we're going to use a regulator, and I actually have it set to 40 PSI max. So we're just going to connect this, and I don't want to hang the regulator off the side of the trailer because I'm not sure how strong this connection is here on the side. So we are going to connect this. Okay, Link, we need that yellow hose. I'll connect this. Okay, and then grab that regulator, buddy. So here is just a regulator that we've purchased, and we have it set to 40 pounds. And now we're going to connect our air line. There we go. We'll just set this on the floor so we don't step on it, and turn our air on. That's it. Now we're going to start opening all the taps and stuff.
So now we're going to start blowing some of the water out with air. All right, go for it.
That's a lot of water to come out.
Yep.
All right, we'll just carry on. We'll go to the bathroom and we'll do the sink and the toilet and the shower.
Toilet. Grody. Yeah, there was nothing in there.
That made a mess.
Yeah, it did. And then use the shower. Oh, I should probably take that plug out. And there we go.
And something that people sometimes forget is your outdoor shower. All right, that's close enough. We'll move on to the next step. All right, so we're not quite done with the air yet, you guys. We got to get to the hot water tank and do the bypass valve. So behind this panel is the hot water tank. I've already taken all the other screws out. So let's take the last one out. Move that panel out of the way. And here's our hot water tank. So you'll have to inspect the configuration of your hot water tank, but quite often there's a bypass for winterization, so that you don't fill the entire hot water tank with plumbing antifreeze. So right here, there's this bypass valve, and down here is a three-way valve. So now the water will come through and bypass the hot water tank and go out this way. Now, if you have your hot water tank plug out or the pressure relief valve open, it's going to short circuit into the tank and then just out to atmosphere. So make sure that's closed up and it'll push the water out through those other lines. This is an important step for when you're doing your plumbing antifreeze later too. So we'll finish blowing that out, then we'll move on to the next step. All right, everybody. So this is the access to our water pump in our trailer, and this is your winterization hose. So there's a three-way valve back there, and on that three-way valve, right now it is set to pull water from the water tank and push throughout the rest of the trailer. Well, we don't want to do that. We want to use this one to get the plumbing antifreeze and push it through the rest of the trailer. So give us a couple minutes. We'll get that all set up, and then we'll show you guys what we're doing. All right, so we've got the winterization hose into the jug of plumbing antifreeze. This is the way that we do it now. Now, in the past, I've just done the plumbing antifreeze to push the water out, but that takes forever, and you mix a lot of the water with the plumbing antifreeze, so you use a lot more antifreeze. And then there's like water mixed in with it, so there's possibility of a higher freeze point, and we don't want that. The other thing is I've done in the past is the water tank that's under the trailer. I've actually poured like 8 gallons of plumbing antifreeze into the water tank and then just pushed it through the entire trailer. That's a huge waste as well. So by doing it this way, blowing out all the lines with air first and then using the plumbing antifreeze, we use roughly 2 gallons, maybe 2.5 gallons total, and that's it. Anyway, so the hot water tank is bypassed and the water pump is off. We got the hose in. So I don't know what the best method is. Best method is because the water pump pushes cold water to this tap to the hot water tank, then hot water to this tap to the shower and sink, and then the outdoor shower. It's a convoluted path in this RV trailer. The cold water gets pushed to this tap, like I said, the hot water tank, the toilet, the sink, and then the outside tap. So do we go with the furthest one first or the closest one first? I don't know. I'm not sure what the answer is. We're going to go with the closest one first. All right, so now we're ready to start pumping the plumbing antifreeze. Say that 10 times real fast. So we're going to turn on the cold water tap, and then I'm going to turn the water pump on until I get a solid pink color, which is all the antifreeze out. Anytime now. There's a little bit of water, slightly pink, and there's the solid pink. So the cold water line up to this tap is done. The hot water line is going to be a lot more because it has to go from here through the bottom of the trailer to the hot water tank, through the bypass, and then back up. But we're going to do that one next. So we'll open the hot side, and we're going to turn on the pump. Should come out a little bit of water. Oh no, there we go. Antifreeze, water, and dark pink. That's it. We're going to move on to the next one.
There we go.
Good?
Yep.
Do the hot.
It's good.
Okay. Do the toilet.
Okay.
Careful with that one. Just open it slightly, okay?
All right.
Is it pink?
Yep.
Solid pink?
Yep.
Okay.
Shower.
Yep. Now hang on a minute though, Link. All right, so we've got the kitchen sink, bathroom sink, and the toilet done. But now next we want to do the tub and the shower. So here's one little tip for you guys is when you do the tub and the shower, don't forget the hose and the shower head, right? So if you forget that, there's water trapped in this. It's going to freeze and split. So we're going to run the the tub tap, and then we'll make sure we get up to the hose. There's solid pink. Solid pink. Now here's where the hose comes into play. So we'll open that up. And solid pink. And remember, we got to do the outdoor shower. There's that. And both hot and cold lines. Okay, so we may have to pressure that up again. That's okay because we need to do something else. And this is really important. Something that everybody forgets. This is another good tip is the SETI water connection. So where the water line is tied into here, the cold water line, there's a small piece of tubing that comes up to here and there's like a check valve here. So this little section of line, if we don't get plumbing antifreeze in that, there's a chance that it could split and break. I mean, probably not because we blew the water out with air, but we're not going to take a chance. So we just pop this little screen out, this little filter screen, and there's a check valve right here. Now, typically every year when I go to do this, I forget that it's pressured up and I spray myself in the face, but it's depressured right now. So we're going to put a screwdriver in there and just hold it in place, or try to get it to stay in place. And then we're going to turn the pump on and just get a small shot of pink antifreeze. All right, so Link's in the trailer, everybody. And I got the check valve pushed in with the screwdriver, and I'm going to cover this with my hand so I don't get sprayed. Okay, buddy, turn it on. Off. That's it. That's simple. That little piece of tubing is now protected. Let's make sure we got this outdoor shower again. Okay, turn it on, Link. Okay, turn it off, bud. There we go. Plumbing antifreeze is in all of our freshwater cold and hot lines. Okay, that's it. We got the plumbing antifreeze through all the water lines, buddy. So we're going to take this jug out of here, and we're going to flip the three-way valve on the pump back to pull from the tank, and we'll show you guys the next step. Okay, so next we've got, this is a 10-liter jug or 2.5 gallon jug. So we've got I don't know, maybe almost a gallon left. Did the door just run into you?
It did.
Anyway, so we've got just about a gallon left, and that's perfect because we're going to use this to pour in all of the sinks and the tub, both sinks and the tub for the P-trap, because there's the P-trap underneath. And then we're going to pour a bunch down the toilet as well. So it'll protect the P-traps in the sinks, and then it'll run through the tanks, and it'll help protect the plumbing external of the tank where your dump valves are. So we just dump a bunch of this, and that should protect the P-trap on that sink. We'll do the same thing over here. So just pour a bunch into the bathroom sink. The door get you again, buddy?
I try to.
So pour a bunch into there. Like, so I know you guys are thinking like, hey, Chris, you just ran plumbing antifreeze through the taps. Well, yeah, I did. But remember, we blew all the water out first. So I like to do this to make sure that we flush all the water out of the P-traps. So we'll pour a bunch into the tub here as well, Link. We'll wipe all this down after. Okay, so now we probably got about a half a gallon left. This is just all going to go right into the toilet. Earlier, when we were doing this on the floor, I know you guys are probably like, dude, what are you doing? Well, don't worry about it, because it goes to a sump, and plumbing antifreeze says right on it, water system antifreeze, safe for metal and plastic, protects water lines, ready for use. Somewhere on here it says it's non-toxic, so we don't worry about it. Okay, there you go, guys. Let's move on to the next step. We almost forgot, when you're doing your plumbing antifreeze, that if you have any low point drains, if you want, you can blow the air through here and make sure that you get plumbing antifreeze out. So we're just going to open this up and let it drain. And look at that, it's already pink. And we're going to do the same thing on this one. I'll put that back on. Do the same thing on this other one. There you go, already pink. So that's our low point drains that has plumbing antifreeze in those and no water. Now we're done with the plumbing.
What are you doing?
Oh, well, you don't want to leave your propane tanks on all winter long. In case there's a small leak or something, they'll leak down and then you'll have to go get new propane. You have to refill them. So there we go. Job done.
Are we doing dishes?
Dishes. No, you silly kid. All right. We're going to use these stainless steel pot scrubbers to plug any of the holes on the trailer, like the furnace exhaust and intake. So mice and birds and other rodents will try to chew their way in, or they'll find a little hole like this. Believe it or not, if you can fit a pencil through a hole, a mouse will fit through that hole. It's crazy. Anyway, so they don't chew through steel wool. The problem with steel wool is that it will rust. And when it rusts, it'll leave brown rust streaks down the side of the trailer or in any other spot you have it, which looks like trash and stuff like that. So we buy these stainless steel pot scrubbers. These ones are great value, so they're from Walmart. But you can get them from the dollar store or whatever. And they're stainless steel, so they don't rust. So the rodents don't chew through them and they don't rust. It's win-win. Now, if you've got tough, calloused hands, you can just rip these apart. I had a friend of mine where I gave him some of these and told him, no, just rip them apart. And he actually cut his hands up pretty good because, well, I guess he didn't have calloused, rough hands. So believe it or not, just a regular pair of scissors are great for cutting these. But we're not going to cut this one. We're just going to stretch this out. So if you come in here, Link, and show everybody what we're doing, we're going to kind of stretch this out, and we just kind of stuff it in around the furnace exhaust and intake. Wrap it around like this, and then with this big clump on the end, we shove that right inside. Okay, so just like that, that's not going anywhere, and that's going to stop animals from going in. I didn't do this one year, and I actually had to remove the entire furnace because it was packed full of twigs and sticks and leaves from, I don't know if it was birds or what. So this is a good preventive measure. Now we're going to take the rest of them, and we're going to go around and we're going to find any other holes we have. I've kind of already plugged everything up with like rodent resistant spray foam and other things to block off all the holes in the trailer. The only ones we have left now is when we bring the slide in underneath the frame and where the belly is. So we'll get to that next. All right, guys, so you can see this is one of the rails for pulling the slide in and out. I know in a lot of newer trailers have cables. You can see there's a pot scrubber in one of the holes that's up there. But we have more that are down under here where the gears and stuff go. But we can't put those in yet until the slide is all the way in. And then right up in here where this corner is, this corner here, when the slide comes in, it doesn't seal perfectly because of all of this stuff. So we'll put some pot scrubbers up in there. And then if you show over there, Link, see there's the stopper rod. See that great big hole back there?
Yeah.
Well, there's the bell near the other end. And that bell doesn't seal the hole all the way. So we'll put some around that. And then again, the other rail and the other corner that's right above the fenders and such over there. So we're going to pull the slide in a little bit, and then we'll stuff pot scrubbers in there using our screwdriver. All right, so down here under the trailer on the creeper, I know, right, Link? Why did we buy a hoist and we're laying around the creeper?
Exactly.
Sorry, buddy. Trailer doesn't fit on the hoist. Anyway, so I've got one whole pot scrubber, and I don't know, can you see right up in this corner right here, Link? Right up in here, there's a hole that goes up inside that goes into the trailer where the slide comes in. So we're going to take this whole pot scrubber and we're going to stuff it up inside that hole, and that's going to block it off. So hopefully no little critters and rodents will make their way in up in there. So you just shove it, stuff it as hard as much as you can, and that'll stop the critters from getting in because they won't chew through that. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. I can't even squeeze a finger up past it there. So, okay, that one's done. And now you see there's like a hole right up in here, Link, right behind this wheel.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get that one. We're gonna get the one on the side. So we'll just take our pot scrubber like this, and we'll just cut a small piece with the scissors, and then we'll use the screwdriver, and I'll just stuff it up inside there. Now these ones here, let's see if I can move the light. These ones here, where that is, right up in there, you have to remember to take these out before you open the slide in the spring. I always forget, and then we get pot scrubbers stuck in these teeth. But like I said, those little mice, those little buggers, they'll get into any little nook and cranny, little hole. So shove that right up in there. That one's done. You see there's one on this side, Link? I'm going to get the one on this side, and then we'll work on the back.
Okay, everybody, so we finished doing the plumbing with all the antifreeze throughout the lines. We plugged up all the holes so no critters can get their way in here. And we turned off the propane so then nothing leaks out and we don't have to get any more. And after we park it, which is just back there, we just have to pull the battery, and that's about it. That's how you winterize a trailer and get it ready for the winter. So anyways, thanks for watching, everyone, and
we'll see you in the next one.